Okay, so we have our edit, we have multiple soundtracks, we have some sound design, we have an end card, we have some film burns and overlays, some time remapping, some filters that we've added to the visuals and to the audio. And let's say, and we've plugged in our version 1 rough edit notes. And let's say we've had more time to refine our edit. Now, there are some further things that we can do to upgrade the overall look and feel. Now, something that you can do and that feature films have is a very specific aspect ratio. You'll notice if you go to a film or you download a movie and you watch it on Netflix, download a movie, oh my God, this is 2021. If you stream a movie and you watch it on Netflix or any other website and you full screen it, it's not going to fill the screen. There's going to be a lot below it and a lot above that screen that's going to have black bars. Now, that's because that's the type of aspect ratio films are shot in. We can mimic that aspect ratio, which naturally creates a more cinematic and aesthetically pleasing image in most scenarios. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take this overlay. So this is a 2 by 35 aspect ratio. So we're going to go from a 16 by 9 to this new aspect ratio, and you're going to see it's going to drop on these black bars across our edit. And instantly we can see now it is going to cover some of these things, and we can totally reframe shots. All we have to do is click on our shot, scoot it down, boom, we're good. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and click through so that we can see an example of what this is doing. So we have this shot with the bars, and let me actually make some more room here to make it bigger. With the bars, without, okay? With, it just looks more framed. It frames things up a little bit better. So let's kind of fix some of these, and let's move her up. And it has more of a film quality when we have this ratio. So we have it without, with. And there's a bar at the bottom because I moved this one up. So let's actually move to a different one. Let's actually let it play. So you get a feel for what that looks like. Now, in my opinion, this looks really good on full screen when you're showing your video on a projector against a big wall. The video is being watched full screen on a big computer screen or a television screen. It doesn't look so good when it's just being viewed on a, small iPhone screen or in just the little screen on Instagram, because that's just the nature of how it's being viewed on that kind of screen or scenario. So I wanted to throw this in here because it is a little professional extra sauce that you can overlay on top of your footage. Because for this specific project, we're not doing any color correction. We're working with footage that's already been color corrected and refined. But the letterboxing or changing the aspect ratio, just like this, is a great way to get that more cinematic, documentary, feature film look. I mean, like this shot looks so cool with it, especially. So, yeah, it makes a really big difference. But it really depends on where your project is going to be viewed. Now, you can go and find these online, just these simple PNGs. that have a transparent center. Or, you can even make it yourself. So let's go ahead and delete this. I'm going to go to our project panel. I'm going to create a new item. I'm going to do a black video. I'm going to drag it on top, and it's going to fill the whole screen, of course. But what we can actually do is create a mask right over here. I went to opacity, I clicked mask, and then we can drag out this box that we just created. So I'm going to drag it out, and I'm going to invert the mask, and now I'm going to expand the layer that we have. So, oh, and I need to turn off the feathering. You don't want it to feather because then you're going to have more of a vignette than anything else. So I'm going to turn off the feathering. Now we actually have a lot of control. We could really make it stylized, which would look great, like I said, if it was going to be viewed full screen on a big screen. Or we can make it really minimal by adjusting the expansion of this black video adjustment layer that we just dropped on top of our footage. So that's a great way to add a little final refinement if your project needs it and where it's going to be played makes sense for this type of process. So now our edit is ready to be exported. I'm super excited about the demo reel that we've created together. And now I want to show you, we're going to export this in 3 different ways so that we can share it online, or that you can share it online with your audience on all platforms. So like we talked about, the main aspect ratio for YouTube and Vimeo is going to be 16:9, which is standard across all videos. If your project is at 1080p, boom, export it at 1080p. If it's at 4K, you can export it at 4K. So let's go over to our edit and let's go up to File. We're going to hit Export. We're going to go to YouTube, the preset for YouTube. If it's going to Vimeo, you can go to the preset for Vimeo. It's going to be an export at 1080p. Let's just go ahead and do Vimeo. And we want to make sure that for our audio settings, we're at the highest quality possible, and that our bit rate, oh, whoopsies, our bit rate is going to be at 320. That just means the maximum bit rate is the best. That's just all you need to know. We're going to go to render at maximum depth as well. This is for the video side, and use max render quality. Now we're in our exports folder, and we're going to title this demo reel final Vimeo, or you can do the date. So you can do, let's just say the date was 4/12 2060. And we hit save, and then we can either export it or add it to the queue. Let's just go ahead and add it to our queue. That way we can kind of do multiple things here at the same time. So while that's doing its thing in the background, I'm going to take our main sequence, which is our demo reel main select sequence. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to title this demo reel main Instagram. Okay? Because the previous edit that we're doing is for standard like Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and nest everything in this sequence. So I'm going to select all my video. I'm going to hit nest. And now we have all of our video files as one in our video. Now what we can do is go to our demo reel, Instagram version of our sequence that we just created. And we can change the aspect ratio from 16:9 to, I believe the ratio is, yes, 4:5, which is going to give us that vertical video aspect ratio on Instagram. So 4:5. To do that, the pixel count is 1200 by 1500. So you can see it shows the ratio now. And what that's going to do is now make our sequence settings perfect for viewing the really cool vertical video on your Instagram feed. But you can see there's a problem, and that's why we nested our sequence first, because now we have to scale up our footage to properly fit this new sequence. But once we do that, then this is ready to be shared on a platform just like Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same process that we did for the previous edit, but I'm going to go for mobile device because it's going to be played on a mobile device. To get rid of these black bars, I'm going to hit match source. That's going to create the proper aspect ratio as our timeline. I'm going to go to max settings. I'm going to make sure that the audio is set to 320. It's not, it's set to 128. We don't want that. That means there's not as much information in the soundtrack. We want max information there. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go main Instagram, and we can date this one too. Let's do 670 year 3030. Okay. And I'm going to add this to the queue as well. And I'm going to hit play so that these can start exporting in the background. And I'm going to do one final version of this, which is going to be for more of the TikTok or Instagram stories style. So I'm going to take this sequence that we have, I'm going to duplicate it one more time. And the reason we're doing that is so that we have a version of each one. Here's our 16:9. Here's our 4:5. And then now we're going to do story/TikTok. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to right click our sequence. I'm going to go to sequence settings, and I'm going to type in the proper pixels, which is 1080 by 1920. Boom, 9 by 16. The really vertical video aspect ratio. So now we have that same problem that we need to fix. Boom. There we go. Now, I will say that when you're going from 16:9 to 9:16, you're gonna have to manually kind of go in and scooch a few things around. For example, a lot of these are looking good, but let's say this shot, we don't want to just see our character's leg. I'm going to go to the beginning of this clip, create a cut, scroll to the end, and just independently scoot over this clip to, let's just say, there. Okay. And for this one as well, we could scoot this over. Boom. So it's going to be a trade-off. Like, it'll be a perfect ratio with no black bars on the top or bottom, like some people do on their posts. It's going to fit perfectly, but the trade-off is that you're going to lose a lot of what's on the side because we're changing the aspect ratio so drastically. So let's say that we went through and manually did this process of updating the individual shots that needed to be moved and we're ready to export. We can do this same process. So we're going to go to mobile 1080p. We're going to make sure that the audio is set to high and the bit rate is at 320. We're going to match our source sequence settings. We're going to use maximum render depth and quality. We're going to go up and we're going to take this and do story. Story. Oh my God. Story and TikTok. And the year is 3030, which is perfect. Add it to the queue. Hit play so that goes. And now what we're going to have is our custom demo reel that we created together in 3 different formats, ready to be shared on 3 different platforms. So if I go to my exports folder, you can see we have our main Vimeo version. ready to go. And we have our normal Instagram post version. And then we have our TikTok, Instagram story version as well. Perfect. So that wraps it up for our demo reel lessons. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you have some new tips and techniques and that you're able to land higher paying clients and make, overall a more impressive demo reel that shares your work in the absolute best light possible. Okay, so I was actually done with this chapter, with this, lesson, but I just remembered that there's actually one kind of bonus tip and technique I wanted to just throw in here as a little extra gift. So what this is going to be is a looping trailer. That it's kind of a cool, unique thing to do. It's almost like taking an Instagram boomerang to like the total upgrade next level. So let's first start with duplicating our favorite thing to do here, our main sequence that's 16 by 9. This is just going to be the easiest way to demonstrate this process. And I'm going to type this looping trailer. So this is going to be like a 10 or 15-second looping video. Now, what I want to look for, oh, actually, let me open this up. Okay. Let me close the other sequences. We don't need those anymore. And what I'm going to be looking for is like the most exciting part of the edit, which this could arguably be that. So let's take these shots and yeah, let's take these and let's scoot these to the front. So we have boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now we have one of the most exciting parts of the edit. Now let's take one of the most exciting audible parts of the edit as well. So let's take this part and let's delete what's in front of it, just like what we did on the visuals. Let's go ahead, scoot over what we don't need. Okay, perfect. That actually synced up pretty dang well. Now what I'm going to do is just kind of get everything else pushed back so we can just focus on this little mini trailer that we're doing. Now I'm going to lock off our audio track and I'm going to duplicate our video track. And now what we have is kind of a Instagram boomerang on steroids. Right? So I can even extend this track out. Let's say we want to make this, I don't know, 40 seconds. Or even loop it right here. There's no real need to make it longer, but we can have it restart right here. So let's do that. Boom. And make an out point. So effectively, we have this really cool looping visual kind of montage. But the track continues, just like you can hear. And this is just kind of like a visual candy teaser that you can release, before you release a project or a video. Is you take an exciting part and you loop it a bunch of times. Now let's do this one more time at a different part of the edit. Let's go ahead to our second track. So I'm just gonna delete everything that's in front of it, and we duplicated our sequence, so we don't need to worry about deleting anything important here. Let's go ahead and drag this over a little bit. Let's go here, create an endpoint. Let's just delete the rest of this, and let's find which shots we want to use. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, let's do that. And let's remove the rest and put these all on the same track just so it's a little bit easier. And we can kind of make these all the same color. Boom. And I'm going to hold Alt, click, and drag it over. Now highlight both of them, and now we have it repeating 4 times. We can drag over our audio, take off the volume keyframes, go to the end, create an out point, and see what we did. Okay, perfect. So right before the instrumentals change, right about here, would be perfect to create an out point so that it loops just this part. So just like on Facebook or Instagram, on the news feed, there's an autoplay function, an auto looping function. This is a really cool teaser trailer, like I mentioned, that you can take what you've already done and drop a video before getting people excited leading up to the launch of your project, of your demo reel, and just kind of get the whole thing, get people more hyped up about it. So I hope you enjoyed this extra tip, and I will see you in the next video lesson.